Hi everyone, Bear from Bear Reads Books. Welcome back to my channel. It's time to get set up for April. March is done and finished. And everything I had on my TBR, if you want to go back and read that video, I did. I DNF'd a couple. I liked almost all of them. I disliked one or two. But really the readathons I said I was going to participate in, I did. The books I said I wanted to read, I read. I have one in progress, that is the March of the Mammoths, which was Edward Rutherford's China, still in progress, but the only criteria for that particular readathon was to start reading a mammoth, and I've done that. Beside me is an obscene stack of books, and I'll show that to you in a minute. Now these are for April. Now for April, this April, and I haven't seen too many booktubers putting their hands up to do this, but I'd really like to kick off Aussie April again. I haven't seen too many people commit to it, so what I've done is I've raided my shelves for a stack of books that fit into the following criteria. Australia, published in Australia, that's on my shelves that I haven't read. Now the selection I've got here is probably 20 to 30 books. I'm not going to read all of those. What I've done is I've taken a whole stack of books off the shelf with the view to selecting books not randomly but on a whim every time I'm ready to read a new one. Here is the entire stack. Excuse me. So here's I'll just move up and down a bit. So there's the entire stack. I'm not even going to put the entire stack on the description or in the notes of the video, but I'll move up and down again. Oh, there's a lot there. And it's a mix of a lot of different things. There's a mix of a lot of different things. Mostly fiction, as you would expect. There are a couple of non-fictions there. I'll grab those non-fictions for you so I can show you. Because, you know, non-fiction's pretty rare for me. So there's a couple of non-fictions that I want to get through. There's a lot of fiction I want to get through. I'm not going to get through it all, but what I will do is I'll pick one, read one, and then choose another, based on however I'm feeling on that particular day. I'm starting off very small. I'm starting with Jessica O's Cold Enough for Snow. This tiny little book, it has received so much acclaim and good news since it came out. I've really wanted to read this for a long time. It's been really hard to find it in bookshops. It's not the sort of thing that ends up in a bookshop, but it's won prizes, been nominated for so many other prizes. It's been so widely acclaimed. My thoughts so far is that it is quite incredible, in a style of Claire Keegan in her very small novels that are just perfect in every way. Jessica O's Cold Enough for Snow seems like a reasonable comparison. So I'm really keen on this. I've only just started. I've got a couple of different non-fiction. This probably is the first one on my list. It's called About a Girl, because before I start talking about this one, the second thing I'm going to do for April is Trans Girl Reading from Kevy's channel, who's doing a readathon called Trans Girl Reading for April. And she's got a couple of different books that she's going to do read-alongs with, and I'm going to pick one of those and do that read-along, and I don't have the name of it on me at the moment, but I am going to do the first of her readathons. What I'm also going to do is some of the books that I have on my shelves, both fiction and non-fiction, would easily tick a box for Kevy's readathon as well. So I'm covering these two things, and at the same time I can also showcase some great Australian transgender fiction and non-fiction, like About a Girl, which is about navigating the health, education, political system in Australia when you are a young person who is trans. So this person here is Georgie Stone, very well known as an actress in a soap opera style show in Australia. But when she was in high school, or even in primary school, elementary school, she decided that she wanted to transition, and with her parents' support she went through that process, trying to get the courts, the education system, and the legal system all to recognise her for what she was. It's really good. It's been sitting on my shelf for a long time and I need to continue doing that. So that is about a girl. And I've got these other two here. One is a history type, one called Truganini, which talks about an Indigenous woman from Tasmania at the point at which Indigenous people were all but wiped out in Tasmania. So that's her story. And we've also got John Safran's Puff piece, which is like long form investigative journalism about the tobacco industry. And John Safran writes with an awful lot of wit. It's always funny, always engaging, and never takes himself too seriously, which is why I love his non-fiction. And he's one of the only non-fiction authors that I've just read every book they've released, so I can't wait to read this one, Puff Piece by John Safran. So that's the non-fiction, those three. I've already got one fiction already started, that's Cold Enough for Snow. On top of that, there is an awful lot of stuff. And I'm not going to go through it all now because it is across lots and lots of different genres. You can replay me doing the slow-mo trying to lift the stack if you like, but there's a lot of different stuff here. There's mystery, there's YA, there's romance, there's trans authors, there's trans subject matter, there is contemporary adult fiction, there's lightweight adult fiction, there's even climate fiction, which was a hangover, a book that I meant to get to for my master's thesis as an analysis and never quite got to it. So this is Jennifer Mills's The Airways, so that's coming up as well. And a whole bunch of things that I've wanted to read in Australian fiction but just haven't had the chance. So what I would like you to do is read along with me for Aussie April. Just pick up any Aussie book and tell me about it either in the comments or do your own videos if you're a booktuber. If you'd like to read along with me at any point, I'll be announcing each time I start a new Australian book in the month of April. I'll be announcing what that book is in a video, and you can choose to read along with me if you wish. That would be great. If you've already read these books that I'm about to read, please comment down below so that we can see, or so that I can see, what you thought of the book. I would love to know. I'm sure some of you have read a lot of these books already. As usual, I am very late to the party with a lot of these books because I bought them when they first came out. Now it's 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 years later, and I'm just getting to them now. So Aussie April is going to be fantastic. Please read along with me. The other one is Trans Girl reading for April, and I haven't quite settled on the definitive list of books that I'll be reading yet. One of them is Kevy's recommendation. Others will be from this Australian bunch here, and maybe 1 or 2 others. We'll see how we go. And I'll do a separate video about what my reading list for Aussie Girl, no. I'll do a separate video for Trans Girl reading very, very soon. But for right now, it's time for you all to get started reading Australian fiction. I would really like to hear your thoughts about Aussie fiction. I'm not reading any of the classics. I'm just trying to find great Australian books to share with you all. Great to talk to you again. Thanks. See you soon. Bye.